go ahead and talk to Talabrin. You don't have to run through the subterrane anymore for this raid, and we're just going to do it on normal. It's going to be really easy, but that's the way we like to keep these teaching raids. If just in case anybody's new to teaching raids, and it's also a good reminder that I'm going to do my best to explain all these raids from start to finish. But at any point, if you have any questions, if you're lost, if you're not sure what to do, or you just want more explanation about something, please let me know, and don't hesitate to interrupt me, otherwise I'm just going to keep explaining things. So here is the staging room, and there is a shrine. So, you know, back in the day, it was like, you know, casters would blow all their, you know, half their mana bar on buffing the party, and then, you know, you could use the shrine and have full mana for when you step into the raid. This entire raid is just a single room once we step through the portal. Yeah, so DR breakers, since this guy is a devil, that means silver and good. Everybody is in. Let's go ahead and step through the portal, but please don't move. Step through the portal, but please don't move. Okay, please don't move for a couple of minutes. I just want to explain the gist of how this works. And just in case you've done it a long time ago, you know, some people said they did it once. There used to be a pillar in the center. They recently changed that, so it's just a floating platform, because I guess the pillar was interrupting or disrupting the pathing of the boss. And it's also, as a result of that change, it's a lot brighter in here now, which makes it seem very different. It used to be a very dark, dark raid. So the raid will get started once we step forward. And you can see there's a bunch of spikes in the middle. Those kind of hurt. Not too bad on normal, though. But generally, you're going to want to stay out of the spikes. And there's 8 trap boxes in this room. There's 2 on each of the metallic-looking walls. But you don't have to get those right away. I would definitely recommend waiting till after the first wave of Orthons, because you kind of want all DPS on the Orthons, and then the trap boxes can be gotten after that. The traps that those spawn, if you don't disable them, don't come out till later in the raid. In fact, I want us to not disable the trap boxes at all, because I want you guys to see what happens when you don't disable those. In our teaching raids, we don't just teach you how the raid works. We want to show you, like, here's what happens, you know, when things go wrong, and here's what you can do. So we want to let the traps out, and so we can show you, like, where the safe spots are. Because sometimes you're going to, you know, you may join this raid, and maybe there's not a trapper, so you're going to need to know what to do to avoid those traps. So once we step forward, 4 elite Orthon Legionnaires, red name Orthons, will spawn, like 1 in each corner. And they're pretty tough. They hit pretty hard even on normal. I encourage you to, you know, get in front of them and take a hit or two just to see how much damage they do. Once we beat them down, the boss will come down. Sulamati's the Horn Devil. And Bolo Grub is going to be our tank. In fact, he'll tank the red Orthons as well. So if you get one, just drag it over to him. And then we're going to fight waves of trash while we're beating down Sulamati's. And he's going to take a break at 1 or 2 points. He'll go up on his platform. We'll fight trash. And basically just repeat until we get close to the end. When he's at about, I don't know, 15 or 20 health. Another round of 4 red name Orthons will appear. You can just drag them over to the tank. And then we'll beat them down. And then as we get close to killing Sulamati's, these explosive fire bats will come out. They do AoE fire damage. Not a big deal on normal or hard, or even R1 for that matter, but just be aware of that. You know, if you're worried about that fire damage, you can use like a blue fire shield. And I'll be talking us through the whole thing. Any questions before we get started? Okay, Bolo Grub, whenever you're ready. Like I said, please do not disable the traps. Not even after the Orthons. We're going to purposely leave the traps active so you guys can see what happens when you don't disable them. They got a pretty good hit on me. Yep, the Orthons do a cleave or a whirlwind attack. Okay, the boss is down. If you get a curse, make sure you get rid of it right away. That curse prevents you from being healed. And he will hand that out throughout the raid. He's also going to drop circles on the ground, and they're going to explode for electrical damage. There's a circle right now. It's like the light blue one. Stay out of those circles. I encourage you to go through the spikes so you can see how bad they hurt. I'm only taking about 15-20 damage per hit. This raid does have a heroic version. The entrance to the heroic raid is basically right next to the legendary. You do not have to go through the subterrane for the heroic version either. But back in the olden days when it was just heroic, you had to go through the subterrane and open the way to the raid. We don't teach that anymore because you don't need to do that to enter either the heroic or legendary. Curses. So what's going to happen because we didn't disable the trap boxes, there's going to be a bunch of spinny blade traps that come out. The safe places are these cubbies. If you look next to the pillars, some of the pillars have little cubbies that you can get into. You'll be safe from the traps there. So when the traps spawn, go into the cubbies. Trash. Dancing balls are really nice crowd control in here. You can put a dancing ball at the base of each of the metal walls. If you look up the metal walls, you'll see there are portals. 4 portals, one in each corner. That's where the trash is spawning from. So if you put a dancing ball at the base there, then they just drop right into the dancing ball, and they're dancing and they don't cause us problems. And dancing balls last a long time. So really good crowd control. I don't think we have anybody with dancing ball in here though, but that's okay. Curses. The devils can be insta-killed.
Note. This is a bad raid for the Hellhound summons, the Rackhound, because those summons will blow out the dancing balls and many of the other crowd control that can be used in here.
Good point. Yeah, my earthquakes get blown out by that as well. Okay, there are the traps. Solomades is going up on his platform, get into one of the cubbies. And trappers, you're welcome to go ahead and start disabling traps. I just wanted you guys to see this is what happens when you don't disable the traps. And I encourage you to go out and get hit by them so you can see how much damage it does. Our teaching raids are a great time to experiment. We want you to, get hit by the boss. Get hit by the traps and stuff like that so you can experience it now while you're in like a safe learning environment instead of learning stuff like this the hard way when you're in a pug. Alright, looks like all the trap boxes are disabled. Gijo, can you tell us what kind of DC these trap boxes are?
In here, generally, if you have around 105 disabled device, you'll be perfectly fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I will be answering viewer questions in Twitch chat. My attention is mainly focused on the folks that are here in person learning the raid, but I will be answering Twitch chat questions when I can. So if anybody watching has questions about any of our teaching raids today, please let me know. Sulamandi's just up there, taking a smoke break. Curses. Oh, nice. I see H-Vector using the AoE curse removal from the monk. That's a nice one in here. The alchemist curse removal is AoE as well. Circle. I encourage you to stay in the circle and see how much damage it does. Remember, we're just on normal now. I don't think many pugs are gonna just do this on normal. I think you're gonna see people doing this one on at least hard. And I probably should have done the teaching raid on hard, to be honest with you. I know we could have handled it with no problem. Stay in the circle. take damage, see what it does. Not too bad on normal, everybody survived it. Everything, of course, hits harder on higher difficulties. The traps, the circles, the spikes, the mobs. The orthons are really painful, even on hard. I wasn't unable to solo that part on this tune. I need to try again soon, though. You can see the trash mobs do hit pretty hard in here, even on normal. I dropped an earthquake. It's pretty good crowd control in here. It's not as good as Dancing Ball, because Dancing Ball lasts so long. Earthquake just lasts, I think, 30 seconds. Yep. When you drop an earthquake as a druid, if you're a cold druid, it's really nice to also drop an ice storm there too, because ice storm is not only going to do AoE damage to the mobs caught in your earthquake, and it's doing both bludgeoning and cold damage. But if you have Mantle the Icy Soul going on, then the Ice Storm or any cold spells will reduce the saves of the mobs. So, you know, it's just going to reduce their saves by 4, making it more likely that they get dropped by the earthquake. Orthons are up, bring them over to the tank. Yeah, Sleet Storm is really nice too. Sleet Storm is one of the most underappreciated spells in the game. It's actually really excellent crowd control. You just want to make sure that your party members have freedom of movement, right? Then they're fine. And as a druid, that's the only class in the game, Curses, that has both spells, Sleet Storm and freedom of movement on their spell list. So if you're a druid, just make sure your party members have freedom of movement and use and learn to love Sleet Storm. It's excellent crowd control and can even be used on High Skull Reaper. It has a long duration, a no save blinding effect, and it slows mobs down. And that is Legendary Vision of Destruction. Any questions? And good luck on your loots.